Welcome to the top of the world. It's brake day. We're going to do the brakes on the tractor today. So this is my Volvo. And, well, the brakes don't work. That's also my Volvo. And the brakes don't work. But that's air assisted and this is hydraulic assisted. So I've done a bit of research this morning. I'll show you what I've been doing. So with this we've got the book. We've definitely got the book, and that helps a lot because I would have never have guessed. Well, for those of you that can't read Swedish, it won't mean anything. But basically, in order to do the brakes on this, and the brakes are hydraulic, so it runs off part of the hydraulic system. So you have to warm the tractor up, and then clamp hose A. Right, hose A. Hose A. Yeah. And it's showing you a figure of how you clamp it, which is the return hose. Alright, then you go and find the bleed nipples, which are at the back only. And you open those two turns and you return the feed back into... Anyway, so I've got all that. However, so it's only got brakes on the rear. And they run from the normal hydraulics. So the brakes not working can only be air in the system. Well, that's what it feels like. But it's showing me under here to clamp hose A. Well, these are the hydraulic lines. One's a flow and one's a return. I don't actually know which one's which. One of those has to be clamped. And the other two are diesel lines. Anyway. So then we come back to the back. So I moved the tractor last night where it's been sat. It's probably only been sat over there 2 weeks. Anyway, I've got this. But I'm pretty sure it's not coming back because the tractor's not where it was. Unless that's her up there. I don't know. Anyway, that's sad. I found the nest in the other tractor, in the back loader, and just pulled it out, but didn't have any eggs in it. Right, so here's the theory. Way back in here. There. Where are we? There. That's the bleed nipple. Can't focus on it. It's too many different things in the way. You got to undo that 2 times, attach a hose to it, and backfill the hose into the hydraulic system. And it's the same on the other side. So it's only rear wheel braking, and the brakes must be in there somewhere. And since we didn't have any brakes when I drove it back the first time, and then of course we redid the hydraulic system, and it don't say anywhere where you're redoing the hydraulic system, don't forget to bleed the brakes. We had a problem with the clutch. So that's what that is, that's air in it. We know that's air in it because we emptied out and did the hydraulic filters. So I'm going to start this up and warm this up. Now those bleed nipples, this has been done once or twice before. That is 3/8, this one on this side. This one in this side, round here. There. That's round. Right, somebody's not had a right size spanner and just rounded it off. It'd be really nice if I could replace those. I've got no idea what thread they are and I've got nothing to replace them with. So it looks like I'm going to have to compound the issue, round it further and then round it again when I close it back up. But if I can get a couple of those, I'd like to replace those. Brakes being like a really big issue in a tractor that has to be in a forest and in the river. Yeah, I just... one tractor with some brakes, that's all I ask. Anyway, okay. So we start it up, get it warmed up, and then we'll see about getting the hose on these and which return hose I need to clamp. It's quite a simple process by the sounds of it. Anyway, here we go. Right, so now I've got to pump the brakes, but I can't pump the brakes and see what's going on here. So if I pump the brakes and then you shout when you start to see fluid coming out, I think that's the best way. Alright, I've been at this a good 10 minutes now. There seems to be a continuous supply of air, like it's, you know, sucking air into the system. think it has to be about clamping this return hose. It's a tractor, it's noisy. Found another hose. Whatever I've done, I've got no brakes now, and less brakes than I had before. Before there was a little bit of something that only partly works, now there's nothing. And that's not working. I've got no brakes at all now, and the air, if you just leave it alone, it's constantly coming out. So, and I'm not sure about, you know, there's a pipe right underneath, anyway you can't see it. I've tried clamping that off. It makes quite a big deal about turning the clamp off. So I've decided to look at the brake pedal itself and the bits behind that. And there's this door on the front there. This, right, I've taken it off. That, right, that's not good. So, can't actually see what we've got going on in there. Oh, look at all the oil, and that's soaking wet in oil, and we got an oil leak there. Right, well, that could have something to do with it. There's quite a lot of oil in there, quite a lot of oil, too much oil. I'm not quite sure what works there. Well, that pushes in 2 cylinders. This must be the return pipe that you've got to clamp off. And this oil here, this is hydraulic oil, but that's not leaking, that's not the brakes. I think that's the steering. I do. But there is quite a bit of oil down in there. And I can see oil weeping down there. And I think that yellow box, I don't know how much you can see, I think that yellow box is to do with the steering. And there's our brakes. And that rubber hose there, that's our return hose. That was never going to be simple, was it? I have found it though. So watch what happens when I pump the brakes. Yeah. That's master cylinder. That's the seal gone. I can't even get my hand in there. I can't get you and my hand in there. Anyway. Behind that rubber there, something's failed. What a nightmare place that is going to be to get into there. Couldn't have just been bleeding air, could it? Oh no. Right. That's going to be a shit job, that is. Okay, well, I don't have much choices, do I? But that's where that's coming from. So there's a small hydraulic leak here on the steering and one there on the brakes. And that'll be where all that lot come from. Alright. Well, we ain't going to get much done today then, are we? I was hoping to... Don't matter what I was hoping for. Got to fix the brakes. Damn. You're in that. Oh. Now we're going to get it out. And now it comes out. But I can't. Necessarily see where they go. There does appear to be hoses on top of that. Can I get that up there? What's the other way? If the lens is all blurry, that's because it's got hydraulic oil and stuff all over it, I expect. Well, we've decided to crack into this. Oh no, here we go again. Oh no. Behind all this, I have found a hatch which you can unbolt, and that gives you top access, which is better access than underneath. Right, so this, you can, well, so you can see here, this is the hydraulic steering, hydraulic directional valve, 4 lines going flow and return, I'm assuming, to the steering pistons, and then below that you can see the master cylinders. You can also see oil all the way down there. That's hydraulic oil from the brake system, but there's also oil a bit, oh no, that's grease. Right, so you can also see somewhere just there, further down, metal showing. That's one of the gates on the master cylinder. There's 2 master cylinders, one for each wheel. It looks like they both got to come out. And what you can't see is further back behind there, there's like hoses, and I'm assuming that's return hoses, and they both come up from the master cylinder to a tank which is just there. There's a small tank. Can I get you in there? Oh yeah, there you go. That tank, that's also all connected into the master cylinders. Anyway, we can see with the amount of oil down in there, right, and that explains something else as well, because I knew we had an oil leak, because I've been seeing it. Oh Christ. So this oil leak dripping down here, right, I was wondering where that was coming from, and this bit of foam under here is saturated, and I couldn't work out how the oil was going up. Well, it isn't, it's coming down. All that oil there, that oil leak, and then if we go round here, I was also aware we got an oil leak there. Right, it's all coming from the same thing. It's coming from the brakes. So I could solve all that oil under there and what's flowing back over the transmission, and it's all down to the brakes. So I can't ignore it. So we've got some access in under there. It looks like our main access. I'd like to take all this off, but it's a major wiring job to take all that off. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the steering by removing those 4 hydraulic lines. That'll give me a better view into there, and then I guess we'll start trying to take the brake system apart. But that is probably the hardest place on this tractor to get to. You can see right in there, back in there, there's hose clamps to get to that tank, and then the master cylinders. Yeah. Looks like both master cylinders, both left and right rear wheels, have to come out. So that's my Sunday gone. probably be Monday as well. Anyway, we won't know till we get them out, will we? And the point about that is the tractor's no use without brakes. And now I know, going back to when I dunked it in the water, it was making that wobble, and that's because the left side brake was partially working and the right side brake was not working at all, and it's only braking on one wheel, which is at the back, and we were going backwards. That's why it was doing all the jerking about. Anyway, we've got no brakes on either cylinder no more, so let's take it apart. Alright, finally I've got it off. I can't even begin to tell you. It's taken 7.5 hours to get this on here. 7.5 hours. And some of that's because I tried to get it out and only this, but I've had to disassemble just about everything. Anyway, let's not go on about that. So it's a Girling 0.875. British made. And there is a, presumably that's a Volvo part number on there, but there's another part number on there. 6701102 Papa Alpha November 26. Right, well I've got this off, so I know it's leaking from out of here. And oh well, the gate's not only is it split, it's not even seated. So I don't really have much idea what I'm doing here. It's not my first radio with brakes, but not quite sure of the point of that. We're into that scenario where my tools are spread all over the place because I'm doing several different jobs. We'll try this. There we go. Nothing looks worn there. Clip is good. That's all good. And that must be where it's alright. There's nothing much in there. It's got to be this rubber seal here. This shaped rubber seal. So this is like a wedge shaped rubber that's designed to keep the fluid on this side, and it must have failed. Right, so this is how far I've got, and it's been about 2 weeks. Not bad for something that was supposed to be here in 3 days. Anyway, so now I've taken off the second master cylinder and I've ordered 2 repair kits. Not quite sure what we've got in these. Okay, that's the main culprit. Where does that go then? Is that supposed to go in that end? I'm not exactly sure right at the moment how this disassembles. Okay, so the first thing we need to do then is disassemble this, and it looks like you insert a screwdriver into there and lift. Oh, that was easy. There we go. Okay, so that comes apart like that. So after much deliberation, thinking about how this might come apart, I decided that in order to see how it comes apart, I would just use a screwdriver under the rubber and pull this rubber off. Well, it's just as well I did, because this is solid. So then the replacement, I've got in a bit of warm water there. I don't know how. Anyway, I'm trying to warm it up in order that it be flexible enough. You can see this here has to go over that in order that you get it on. So I've had it in hot water, and it needs more hot water. We'll stretch it on over the top there. It's been in warm water for a little while now, so I'm hoping okay, and now it's on there. It doesn't look right either. Okay. Alright, well that's quite a squeeze, but it's on there. Okay, so that's that seal on there. That's the old one and no good. And then this. Okay, that goes like that. And then off comes that little washer, and we've got a new one of those in here. That goes next. So we'll get that little one out of there. Put that in its place, that's the old one. Take that one away. Take the circlip away. If that is shaped, I'm not sure it is. We need some. Okay. That appears to have a little ridge around it. Hollow solid. Solid bit goes that way. Okay, so then that goes onto there, that goes onto there, and then we reassemble this by putting that into there, compressing the spring and hooking that into there, and then that should click back onto there. Okay. That turned out to be quite easy in the end. And then the bore feels very good in there. Okay, then we've got this grease pack. Okay. And we want the new circlip. Like that. That's the old rubber. Okay, and we want to put that back in there. Okay, reinsert the circlip. Slide that's seated on there well, and then finally the sealing ring goes right over the top of that. Okay, and that should be our rebuilt master cylinder. That one. Right, now we know how to do it. That was the one that was leaking. That is the right hand master cylinder. The left hand was not leaking. Let's now replace this. So we're much more familiar with how this works. Alright, let's take that out of there. Insert screwdriver, bend up tab, remove. Remove. Like so. Second repair kit. Okay, remove that rubber, reinstall that rubber. Okay, remove the old spring washer and replace with new. Reinsert plastic cap. And then you can see the smaller round on that. That actually goes into an elongated hole and locks into place, like so. Okay, put that back in the warm water if it's still warm. Remove this seal. Get your small screwdriver underneath it. And pull it off the top there like that. Old seal. Okay. Put that back onto there. Push this tab back down. It's locked. Okay. New pack of grease. And then the reverse process for this, the old outer rubber off. Rather than have to fight with that, I can just do that. Remove the old circlip, clean that up. The next fight is stretching this over the old. Oh yeah. Okay, new circlip. Making sure that circlip is well and truly seated, because that would be the big disaster there. Okay. Okay. So that's both master cylinders with their repair kits, and that's taken me 20 minutes. So that took me a little over 7 hours to get those two out of the tractor, and I've replaced the rubbers in under 15 minutes. Right, we're ready for reverse reassembly. Now, because I've done the major struggle, I'm really hoping that doesn't take me 7 hours to put this tractor back together. And that doesn't include the bleeding up. So I'm going to aim for getting these on in an hour. Now I know what I'm doing. All right. Let's go do that. So the time in putting this back together, I'm trying to get one of the brake lines from the master cylinder onto the valve, the brake valve, and I've been on it now an hour and 15 minutes and I can't even get the nut started. So you can't get your fingers in there like that. You can't get your fingers in like that. You can't get one finger underneath and one finger from above. It's easy to undo it and then you can pull it off, but then when you've got to do the reverse, and the whole time behind this job, it's not the repair of the cylinders. That was 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's just an absolute lack of room to get in here. It's just ridiculous. And I can't... And the positions you're in. See, it's not like you can stay in one position for any amount of time, because I've got to keep moving, because it's my back or my hip, my knee, my ankle, my big toe, whatever it is. You can't stay in this one position. And even if you could, you can't actually, you know, you're trying to get the nut started. For those that you've done all this crap, you know. And you have to have a refresher once in a while to realise that you're still human. Anyway, there's no point in complaining about it, because if I can't get the brake lines on, I'm going nowhere, so I just have to keep at it. And I can't disassemble it and then get one nut started and reassemble it, which I could do, because, you know, that would take me less than an hour. Because then you can't get the brake lines over the... Anyway, they're shaped, is what I'm saying. You know, because that's the next thing. Your hand start... Oh, there we go. Your hand starts cramping up. And your back hurts. Ah. Right, we're on the 4-hour mark of reassembly, and I think I've got everything back together. I'm a bit reluctant to fire her up because all the electrics are out. However, I have to, because I won't be able to see if I've got any leaks then, because I've disconnected the steering hydraulics and the brakes, which are the same. So I guess we just fire it up and see what happens. Starts nice, doesn't it? Okay, I suppose we need to check the power steering first. So I had all these hydraulic lines off here. This is all the power steering. Oh, the wheels are moving. Okay, there's a bit of air to bleed out of them, but it's working. And you can't even see the master cylinders. They're right down in the back there, with all these like little brake lines I've had to connect up. Okay, now we go where we were nearly 3 weeks ago, trying to bleed the brakes up. It's imperial size. I thought I had an air somewhere. I'm getting the exact same result as I did before I started all of this, which is, you know, when your heart sinks and you just feel, oh no, really? Anyway, what I don't appear to have is any leaks from the master cylinders, or any leaks at all, in fact. I've just got this air in here. I need to go for coffee. Now I'm hoping I got that. That took a long time. First mistake I made was not clamping the return hose off hard enough. Took about 20 minutes to get the air out of that. It's only a small system. Anyway, let's see if we've got brakes. Right, that brake pedal is rock solid. There is no sponginess, there is no movement in it. Now what I've got to do is put all the electrics back together. Here's the amazing thing. I've got a rock solid brake pedal. At least I had a rock solid brake pedal before I put the electrics back together. Well, I put the electrics back together. I just put my tools inside the door because I'm going to take it on a test drive. And we're 7 hours and 15 minutes since we started this morning. So that was 7 hours 30 minutes to take it apart, 15 minutes to repair both master cylinders, 7 hours and 15 minutes to put it all back together, 15-minute brake test, 7.5 hours. 7.5 hour breakdown, so 7.5 hours to put it back together. Now, you're not constantly on them 7.5 hours because you have to crawl out of this hole and stretch. And the bleeding took a while, patience. So I don't have a vacuum bleed or anything like that that would have, you know, done the job potentially quicker. But anyway, let's see if we've got brakes on both wheels. I've got to tell you, I'm really pleased to have done that job. That was a test of patience, test of skill, test of patience. That's what that was. So there's no question that the brakes don't work. So they've never worked like that since I've had it. So we're good on the brakes now. I think I've got a little bit of adjustment to do on the old parking brake there, but I'm very happy. And we can go back to work now. Before we go back to work, I've got to do a couple of shout outs. So I'm going to do a shout out to Heath Dotty of Heath Dotty's Adventures. Right, he's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to put a link down in the description for you. He really helped me out on the sawmill build with screws and hardware. And I'd pretty much burnt through all of that and a lot more besides in the build here. And then another one of my friends turned up with a whole box of multi-size screws, which not only put screws back on my shelf, but has also allowed me to do a job which you haven't seen yet, which is the large scaffolding on the last elevation of the building. So it's a huge shout out to Brian, huge shout out to Heath. Thank you very much, really helps. Brakes are fixed on the tractor, and that's all you're getting from me today. And it's been, the brake saga's been 3 weeks, really. Thank you all for joining me on this adventure. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, consider it. Don't cost you nothing. Really helps the channel out. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.